You might have heard that live shopping is exploding. And I have to tell you, I have been on Whatnot for a couple of weeks now, and I see why it is. Now, Whatnot is my sponsor, and they are the reason I got on the platform and checked it out. I'm glad they did. They made it easy for me. I'm going to make it easy for you. I love it. Whatnot is where you get great products without paying full price. It's that simple. I'm hooked on their live shows, too. You got to see them. They're so much fun. And I see why Whatnot has climbed to the top of the App Store. And listen, if you're selling online, or maybe you have a storefront and you're hoping people will find your listing or maybe walk in your store, Whatnot flips that, because on Whatnot, you go live and you sell directly to people in real time. And I may admit, although you didn't hear from me, I may have picked up a couple of power tools or so in the past couple of days. I'm just saying. Whatnot, it's the largest dedicated live shopping platform with beauty, collectibles, electronics, luxury, fashion, even cookies, and anyone can sell. In fact, people who sell on Whatnot sell 10 times as much as any other major marketplace. That's because you're not just listing products, you're building real connections with buyers. So whether you're shopping or you're selling, download the Whatnot app today and get free shipping on your first order. Just search WHATNOT, Whatnot, in the App Store and start scoring amazing deals. So I was whining to my wife the other day, said, I need new glasses. And she said, well, get some. I couldn't tighten them anymore. They were scratched. You know the thing, right? But I didn't want to go through the process because you have to make the appointment. You have to spend weeks to get them done. And you got to pay a fortune, right? That's real. But I did. I spent $500 on frames and glasses, and that was cheap. And then I ordered a pair from my sponsor, Zenni Optical, for $70. Zenni is an online eyewear shop, prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light lenses, starting at under $30. You go to Zenni.com, you pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they ship it to your door. No appointment, no store, no upsell at the counter. And by the way, if you are saying, do I really need new glasses, or do I have to put up with one pair to do everything I need to do for the next 2 years? No, you can get what you want starting at under $30. And if you've never bought glasses online, don't worry about it. I haven't either. Zenni has a virtual try-on so you can see exactly how the frame looks before you commit to buying them, with no salesman looking at you saying, those look good, but these expensive ones would look better. No, you don't get that. I'm excited. I can't wait to get my Zenni glasses and tell you more about them. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now's the time. Go to Zenni.com/podcast and use the code podcast15 for 15% off your first order. The styles sell out, so don't sit on it. That's ZENNI.com/podcast. Promo code podcast15. How are you? Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right? I had been on vacation. I went to a conference. I had a big, stinky, icky cold. Then I got COVID on top of it. I don't know or care what kind of day it is, but I think it's a Wednesday. And today I'm thinking about Operation Reinvention. Have you ever looked in the mirror and said, I just need to do something different? I started talking about this about 5 years ago, and I use it for myself constantly, many times at the beginning of the year, but sometimes in the summertime or even in the fall. And that's what I thought about today. Operation Reinvention, and I know you want a plan to be able to do it, but I'm not going to give you one. I'm going to give you a better way to get started without having to get all crazy and thinking about it and have a manifesto or anything, okay? It is a daily boost from motivationtomove.com, the positive boost you need every single day. It's what I do, because when life gets kind of crazy, and it does, and you get surprised, and some days are really, really bad, and some days are like really, really good, and some days are in between. Kind of sounds like life, right? But no matter what happens, when you have a goal, you should get it. And that's what this show's focused on. My name is Scott Smith, founder, chief motivating officer here at motivationtomove.com. I had a really bad day yesterday. I'm just going to admit it. It was a tough day. Well, okay, here's what happened.
Plan B is a backup birth control option that's there for you when things don't go according to plan. It specifically works after unprotected sex and before pregnancy occurs by temporarily delaying ovulation. Plan B is available nationwide at all major retailers and through delivery apps like DoorDash. No ID, prescription, or age requirement. It's the #1 OBGYN recommended brand of emergency contraception, and it won't impact your future fertility. That's freedom to be. Use as directed.
I got an email from a young lady, I guess young, I don't know. She said, Scott, I was listening to your podcast. I had to take a break for work, and I came back to listen to the end of the podcast, and it was gone. It disappeared along with every other podcast that I had on your feed. I said, yeah. I was there when that happened. Our host had an issue, and they were having an issue that was a different issue than I was having, and I was in there with my team making some changes, and I made the executive decision, so this buck falls on me. I said, yes, go ahead and select those things and click delete, because I don't want those shows there anymore. I want to make some changes. And just before we click delete, I think, should I maybe double check? And let's do it. Boom. A year and a half worth of work just went poof, disappeared. I was not a happy camper. Fortunately, the IT team put it back together for me and solved all my issues. Thank goodness they could do that. But it's one of those days. Have you ever had a day like that when like you just, it wasn't even a year and a half worth of work. It was probably a couple of weeks worth of work it was going to take to get it back in place if we couldn't fix it in another way. Thank goodness they've got a real pro team and they got it going there. But can I come closer? Can I share something with you? I'm an upbeat, positive guy. I'm like my mama, an optimistic, pessimistic kind of guy. Now, what I mean by that, and I call my mom the most optimistic, pessimistic person I've ever met. She's always optimistic, but she greets the world as if, what? And I do too. Oftentimes, things will come in front of me that I'm like, what? How did that happen? And I will kind of put a wall up, but then I catch it really fast and I spin it into optimism, which is why I wrote a book on gratitude. So I have to tell you, and this is just pure fun, if you're a guy and sometimes you go through days like I had yesterday and you're not really feeling grateful for everything you have, even if you wrote the book on gratitude, right? So I wrote this book called The 5-Minute Daily Gratitude Journal for Men. And I'm sitting on my sofa last night and I'm thinking, I was not feeling grateful. You ever felt that way? That's why I wrote the darn book. So you know what I did? I went up to the box that they sent me in the mail, about 25 books they sent me. I pulled one out and I said, I'm going to read this gratitude journal and we'll see how it makes me feel. And gosh darn it, if it doesn't work, it's very cool stuff. Check it out. Just go to motivationtomove.com/gratitude. That will take you to a page which will take you to where you can buy it. Simple stuff. I want to make it easy for you. Okay. Motivationtomove.com/gratitude. Okay. So let's get on with this today. This is not a really hard thing to do. In fact, if you pay attention to the first 3 lessons I've taught you, this is easier today. Yeah. There've been about 3 lessons since I started this show. Hope you're paying attention. Go back and listen if you haven't been. So Operation Reinvention. So last year I made a decision to change everything about my life. It is now probably, or putting close to 2 years on this now, since I decided to sell the farm, sell the alpacas, go travel the country in RV, find a new home on the coast here in Daytona Beach, and make some changes. But I didn't know any of that was going to happen. All I knew was we were going to sell the farm. That was it. It was my Operation Reinvention. Now, a lot of folks say, well, Scott, you do this a long time. You help plan people. You put roadmaps together and frameworks and all this kind of stuff. You had a plan for exactly what you were going to do. You knew exactly how it was going to work out. I said, no, I didn't. Now, I wouldn't say I was winging it. But sometimes you have no idea what kind of plan you need. Have you ever been there before? I know you have because I talk to you all the time. And I know the biggest question people have is basically, well, the statement. They say, Scott, tell me what to do and I'll do it. In other words, give me a plan, tell me the steps, and I'll go do it. So I know that's what people arrive at me for, and I have a lot of steps to help you along the way, a lot of little recipes I use. Sometimes you just don't have any idea. I want to do that. I want to move. I want to make money. I want to get married, whatever. I just don't know how to do it. And that's okay to me. I know it's really bad stuff. Most people in my world, in the personal development world, will say, Scott, you got to have a plan. You got to know your why. You got to know your what. You got to go after it. You can't do it if you don't know your why. I don't know. I've gotten through much of my life not knowing why the hell I'm doing it. How about you? Yeah, just common sense. Scott logic kicking in there. But what I did, even though I didn't have a plan, and my guess is what you've done over your life when you have taken off on a path without necessarily knowing how it was going to work out, you had a mindset. That's it. Got a mindset. So I thought about this and I kind of wondered and I said, okay, what am I trying to do here? Because I just want a mindset, but I want something to focus me a little bit. So here's what I came up with. I'll give you the way I wrote it out. This is probably not the way I actually think about it myself. I think I simplify it. What single change can I make? A change that would automatically and positively disrupt everything in my life and put me in a better place. Single change that's going to automatically just change everything. What can I do? Now, what happened was, as I set on that path, I do this with the mindset that I'm going to make one decision and make one change. That's going to make everything easier and set me down a path that I want to go down. And then I'm going to make another one. So that's the mindset. A single change I can make that if I did it, it would positively disrupt everything and send me off in a new, better direction. I started that a year and a half ago. I have continued to do it to this day, and I'll do it even this afternoon. I'll sit down and say, okay, I got a plan for like 99% of what I do, but that 1%, I'm winging it. Sort of. Question I followed that with as well. I think you've heard me say this a couple times, and this is taken directly from several women I work with over the years who had gotten divorced. And they're ready to move on. They're over it. They're talking to me, and They want to get a new man. I say, okay, so what do you want in that new man? And they don't tell me what they want. They tell me everything they don't want. It's amazing. It's amazing how women, I guess guys would say the same thing. I haven't had much of experience with guys in that realm, but tell me exactly what they don't want without ever really knowing what they do want. So I kind of adapted that into another saying that I use. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's not going to be that. So put the two together, put the mindsets together of understanding that you don't have to have a step-by-step plan. Yes, it is helpful when you start actually knowing what you're trying to build, but sometimes you just don't know, do you? Sometimes you just got to find your way. So we get that mindset that goes, okay, I'm going to make a single little change, at least today, that's going to set me off on a different path in a better direction. And tomorrow I'll be another change and another change. I don't really care what I have to do or what decision I have to make or what comes up. I don't really care. All I care is that I get what I want at the end. And I don't know exactly what it's going to look at the end yet, but I know what it's not going to look like. So every decision I make is to take me away from that towards something else. Always make sure you're moving toward where you want to go, not where you've been. That's what a lot of people do. It suck you right back into it, won't it? It really happens that all the time. Oh, I have trouble talking here. That's my voice is getting better, feeling a little better. By the way, thanks for your kindness. I really appreciate all the nice notes about me struggling my way through these podcasts the last couple of weeks, but that's been fun. No, it hasn't. It's really sucked. But anyway, I've really enjoyed doing it, but it's hard. Goals are cool. You should use them. But sometimes you got to follow your gut. You got to go with the flow. You got to figure things out along the way, and that's cool too. What change can you make that will allow you to go with the flow? What is that? I know you want a plan, but if you don't have one, you got to move anyway, right? Join me in the Facebook group, dailyboostpodcast.com/Facebook. You can find us there. See the video testing I'm doing. This podcast being recorded a couple days a week on video. We're testing it over there in the Facebook group before I go on a wider scale. You can see that if you'd like to. And if you want to check out my book, go to motivation2move.com/gratitude, the 5-minute daily journal for men. That's where you'll find it.